point, because it seems to me that staff is making some changes here, and I understand there's a part of the motion, but functionally, I don't know, I guess I'm just looking for guidance as to what the difference between the two approaches from an implementation standpoint would be.
From a management perspective, there's no difference to us in managing a pilot program or a permanent program. I think what I hear Mayor Sessom saying is that anytime we are making this permanent, there's less incentive for the participants to push forward to get what's done. They're still gonna be picking up people here, dropping off people, they're still gonna be paying the same fees, particularly all the changes that we have asked for are implemented today. So there is literally no difference except in nomenclature between a pilot program and a permanent program. It's just, when we started this pilot program, we committed to the board to come back at the end of that program with certain information data that would help us to define how a program would work long-term. And that probably, that's a better term than permanent, but a long-term program here versus just on a trial basis.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bones. Could I have Uber and Lyft come forward and just give their perspective on this approach? And also, before we get to them, the issue of the 2 mile radius, obviously the 2 miles, as Mr. Gleason indicated, includes some areas where, like Liberty Station, where non-airport customers will be wanting to utilize this. So is there clarification on a part of both the TNCs as well as staff as to the resolution of the 2 mile radius issue?
I believe, and I don't want to speak for the staff, but my understanding is that we agree this is something that has to be looked at and really do a deep dive on it in this next week to determine a better solution. Because there are a lot of unintended consequences of a 2 mile radius. Like for instance, if someone lives nearby within that 2 mile radius, then they would not be able to receive dispatch to their house where they are, or it could interfere with business that has nothing to do with the jurisdiction of the airport, for instance. So then we understand that's not the intent of the way it's written, and we're committed to finding a solution.
Staff, that's.
Yes.
Very good, thank you. It's on the issue again of extending the pilot program. Did you also talk about it?
Craig again from Lyft. If you wouldn't mind giving me a point of clarification. So if we're weighing the choice between the extension of the pilot program versus the quote-unquote permanent versus long-term program, it would be our preference to move towards a long-term program. But frankly, it also is a matter of nomenclature. We do understand that, notwithstanding that it's a year term, it's still a fluid document. For example, there's provisions already in not only the pilot, but in the longer term program that state that we will mutually cooperate with staff for reporting solutions. Specifically, there are real-time solutions provided by the industry, AAAE, and also some private solutions that we fully intend to cooperate with. So while there is always trust yet verified relationships of this nature, we do value our relationship with staff and the airport, and we fully intend, much as we have, if you look at our track record, with dozens of other airports around the country, to deploy solutions that, granted, have loose language of compliance, but we still do it, and hopefully folks are satisfied.
Thank you. Very good. Actually, just one real quick question on Mr. Cox's point with regards to developing an option where consumers could choose whether to go with a more environmentally friendly vehicle. I guess I would say, I'm actually a little bit surprised that doesn't exist already, but do you think that within 6 months you could offer that as a service?
Speaking on behalf of Lyft only, I do not believe we'd be able to develop that technology within the next 6 months.
I can do it in 24 hours.
I would have to agree on behalf of Uber, but I did want to just highlight that I think we're becoming very fixated on vehicle type, and we're doing some very interesting things in terms of reducing the total number of cars required to take multiple parties in terms of products like pool and those line, in addition to other technological advancements in the pipeline that can reduce the number of vehicles, which therefore has a significant impact on total emissions from airport property.
I think one last point.
Oh, okay.
Well, back in. Just to be strongly clear, the linchpin of the program in CTEC isn't a one-for-one, let's substitute all green vehicles for previously established or legacy vehicles. Instead, again, it's a multi-layered approach that looks at things that all impact the environment, including deadheading, bike sharing, and carpooling, and also the energy model. So I just would ask that you guys take that into consideration as well.
Thank you.
I'm going to ask Mr. Robinson something, so he's got questions. Mr. Jan.
But the violent issue that goes away because we're dispatching from the staging area.
Mr. Robertson, yes, as indicated, we believe we resolved that issue with staff, and we're not concerned.
Would you be in favor of what Mr. Hubb said, that we give preference to a green car from the staging area?
Again, that's something that we have not developed as a platform. That is something we obviously have to take back. But today, I couldn't make an opinion on that.
And similar, I think we're very committed to figuring out solutions going forward, but it's something we would not get into rapidly. One thing I would just add is, as we consider building incentives for disincentives, it is important to remember the nature of the workforce, so to speak, that these are folks who are driving well under 15 hours per week. And so with these structures, it can be difficult to convince someone to move to a completely different type of vehicle for a temporary part-time work. So it is a consideration to keep on.
Next. Mr. Jan.
I'm going to go off in a totally different direction. Concerning the staging lot, I'm looking at airport parking as being very valuable to us. I hate seeing us give up any part of parking, though there is cost recovery for what's proposed. This morning I was, among other things besides walking the trolley line, I stopped at the cell phone lot, and I don't see that the taxi whole lot is being utilized as much as it could be, and I'm wondering, it would save the taxis money if they didn't have to pay for as much space and we were able to combine the two into one area, because it seems to me that somebody mentioned earlier, everything's in flux when it comes to this. And I've seen us put in capital investment into something we have no idea what's going on. So that's just my thoughts on that stage.
So
Please, Ms. Schiffman.
we did look at that and consider that, and that quite honestly is one of the reasons why we came back to the minimal capital investment of carving out a small piece of the employee lot. So it is relocating a fence and installing a gate arm, which allows us access to that employee lot. As we move forward, I think minimal capital investment now gives us maximum flexibility in the future.
Can I just add to that, Mr. Janet, you saw it at perhaps the lowest point of the day. If you came back during a different portion of the day, that lot would be full. And so I think that overall, that lot right now is sized for 180 vehicles, and that's what we're able to put in there. So it does fluctuate from hour to hour, minute to minute, based on the dispatches to the terminals, but there have been days when that has been full. And that was one of the original.
Thank you. Mr. Hubbs?
It's just a point of clarification on the motion. We had the issue of the upper roadway for temporary access and the holding lot. Are those separate actions, or is that being put on hold also?
My understanding of the motion is, so correct me if I'm wrong, to extend the pilot program for 6 months to include the new permits starting July 1, to include all the items discussed in the staff recommendation, the whole lot, the dispatch, the pickup locations, all those other things, and for staff to come back prior to the expiration of that pilot program with a discussion and resolution of the options related to greenhouse gas emissions, alternative fuel vehicles, and the incentives and disincentives therefore.
So it would postpone implementation of the whole lot and the...
No, it would include all of the implementation of all of those items.
Okay, so those would move forward irrespective of the pilot program.
Yes. And frankly, I'm not so certain it doesn't move the entire, basically, staff recommendation, because it was, we're going to look at greenhouse gas emission questions, so. Then we have that motion, and there is a second for that. That's fine with you for that? Okay. I will just add to sort of wrap all this up, that I actually agree, I agree with Mr. Hussein, that I think we're, one of the issues that we've struggled with as a group is this under-regulation, over-regulation question, and tried very hard to work our way through that in a way that is equitable, to use the best word, for everybody, and deals properly with the customers of the airport. We have a new market entrant that has great customer acceptance, and we can't, deny that. And I think we're trying to make that work in a way that works best for not only those consumers, but this community and the airport. And we take very seriously our commitment around sustainability and greenhouse gas emissions and alternative fuel vehicles and all of that. So you see us trying to struggle with that. At the same time, I do think we want to continue to dig in on this question of other modes and the regulation on those modes. So despite the fact that we're taking a motion on one particular thing today, I think we're all mindful here of that whole regulatory framework and how we're managing that here. So with that, I will support the motion, and I will ask everybody please to vote.
And I just want to toss something out here. I know it's not part of the motion, but I want to make sure that we try, I guess, staff is going to come back this fall with a leveling of the playing field between unlimited TNCs versus limited caps coming in daily. So I want to see what we can do to even that playing field.
We're gonna look at the entire framework of how the cabs and other ground transportation modes work and come back with information to the board on that.
Yeah, and we will leave that to the new chair to decide whether that's going to be one item, 2 items, or how that's going to be done. All right. So if you haven't voted, please vote.
They've all voted, and my motion passes unanimously, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Thank you. I thank everybody for your participation. We are going to take a very brief break, and then we're going to come back. So the good news is we finished one of our action items. The bad news is there's 6. So we are going to come back and take up item 17. This is the update on noise issues and amendment of the authority policy concerning the Airport Noise Advisory Committee. Right?